यत्र नार्यस्तु पूज्यन्ते रमन्ते तत्र देवता.
Angels bless and divinity blossoms where women are honored. From times immemorial, the Indian society and culture have always placed women on the highest pedestal and revered womanhood. The great Indian philosophers of Vedic period had considered that seeds of divinity grow and blossom in a truly cultured society where women are given due respect and equal opportunities to develop with dignity. Things changed, however. The status of women in the medieval era was delegated to the lower rungs of society. They were discriminated and even denied, in some ways, basic human rights during this period. Several attempts were made by social reformers during the 18th century and in the early 19th century to improve the status of women in the Indian society. India, after independence, having adopted the democratic way of life, made several provisions in the Constitution of India to provide equal status to women on par with men in the domain social, economic and the political. Come 1992 came the 73rd Constitutional Amendment in India. It paved the way for providing a minimum of 33% reservation of seats to women in the Panchayat Raj institutions. The states went even further, and many of them, including Andhra Pradesh, have provided for 50% of reservation of seats for women in the Panchayat Raj institutions. The result? Nearly 1 million women have occupied various positions as political leaders in the elected government of the state and country. For the last decade and a half, the Ministry of Panchayat Raj and the state governments have been putting up tremendous efforts in capacity building and development of leadership qualities amongst the elected representatives, with a very special focus and emphasis on women elected representatives and to enable them deliver public service. In the efforts to empower women elected representatives of the Panchayat Raj institutions in 6 states, the Ministry of Panchayat Raj and the Royal Government of Norway and the UN Women have embarked on a very ambitious project titled Promoting Women's Political Leadership and Governance. This major project in India has been funded by the Royal Kingdom of Norway. The basic aim of this project is to promote women's political leadership and to create an enabling environment in which elected women representatives will have equal influence over political decisions on par with their male counterparts. The project expects that it would impact 500,000 women representatives in the local bodies, and that it would have a tremendous impact on the grassroots democracy in these 6 states. The government of Andhra Pradesh have signed a project cooperation agreement with the Ministry of Panchayat Raj, Government of India, for implementing this project in 3 select districts of Vizianagaram, Srikakulam and Mahbubnagar districts. AMR APAD, being the state's apex training institution for training Panchayat Raj and Rural Development Department functionaries and the elected representatives of the Panchayat Raj institutions, is mandated to implement the program in these 3 districts, while the Department of Panchayat Raj, Government of Andhra Pradesh, extends all the necessary administrative support. Having immensely benefited by the exposure visit to the best practices in women's empowerment in Norway, Oslo, Bergen, and Øygarden, and impressed by Anand Kaur, AMR APARD has developed an innovative approach for implementation of the Women's Political Leadership and Governance Program under the banner called samabhagam, which means equal share. Considering the success of AMR APARD's KeyCap Lab to Land initiative, which is now in operation in almost 80 Gram Panchayats in the state of Andhra Pradesh, we could churn out an incredible social mobilization in all these villages through a committed cadre of Bharat Nirman volunteers. APARD has now adopted the same approach to implement samabhagam program. One volunteer per ward was made available to support the Grama Sabha motivators in their efforts. The national workshop jointly organized by Ministry of Panchayat Raj, National Institute of Rural Development, the UN Women helped to finalize the strategy and the way forward for this major project. APARD has designed several innovative information education campaign material, of which Samabhagam campaign logo, t-shirts, pins, wall hangings, reading material, video films, specially prepared booklets all form part of this efforts. In fact, the unique Samabhagam logo was developed after a thorough brainstorming session at APARD in which UN women delegates were also present. The outer blue circle in the logo represents our blue planet in which men have fashioned a patriarchal society with the dominant role for themselves in all domains, social, economic and political. The woman's face shown in half symbolizes the emergence of the conscious woman demanding half the share of social, economic and political space. The script Samabhagam, a word in Telugu language, when literally translated means equal share. The logo in a nutshell is that of a gender-sensitive woman demanding, we want equal share in social, economic and political space on this blue planet. That is what the logo intends to say. Under the guidance of the Ministry of Panchayat Raj, Government of India, APARD, in association with the National Institute of Rural Development, has conducted a training needs analysis at the APARD Extension Training Center in Samalakot and finalized the training content. APARD has designed the training module incorporating a host of participatory tools like role plays, case studies, focus group discussions, group presentations, etc. for training all the motivators of these three districts. The motivators from Srikakulam and Vizianagaram districts were invited to APARD on the 17th of December 2011 for a 3-day training program. They were empowered with various techniques of social mobilization and were also given basic inputs on Panchayat Raj institutions, Grama Sabha, gender issues, developmental goals that have been made the agenda of achievement at the local levels. Subject matter experts, powerful mass communicators, personality development professionals were all engaged as trainers to handle the sessions. The training has cleared the deep-rooted inhibitions among the motivators and showed them the roadmap that they have to traverse. In the process, many myths that were rooted in their heads were busted.
భర్త చచ్చిపోయా కూడా అన్నయ్య వదిన ఏమనుకుంటారమని నా అత్తరింటికాడ నన్ను వదిలేశారండి. కొడుకు ఏదో చదువు ఇప్పుడు తను నొక్కేసి వెళ్ళిపోయాడు ఇంకో దగ్గరికి అనమాట. ఆ తల్లిదండ్రులను చూడకంటే ఆయన ఏం ప్రయోజనం ఉంది? ఆడపిల్లని మమ్మల్ని కింద చూపు చూశారు. కొడుకు ఏదో చూస్తాడంటే కొడుకు కూడా చూడాలి చూడలేదు కదా.
ఒకప్పుడు మగవాళ్ళే మాట్లాడాలి, ఆడవాళ్ళు మాట్లాడాలనే భయం అనేది మాకు ఉండేది. కానీ కొంత ఇప్పుడు మాలో ఆ భయం పోయింది కాబట్టి ఆడవాళ్ళమంటే అన్ని సాధించగలమని ప్రతి ఆడవాళ్ళకి కూడా మేము చెప్పడానికి మాకు మంచి ట్రైనింగ్ సార్ ఇది.
ఈ శిక్షణ కార్యక్రమంలోని ఏ ఏ చట్టాల ప్రకారంగా ఆడవాళ్ళకి రక్షణ కలుగుతుందని చెప్పి చట్ట ప్రకారంగా మేము నేర్చుకున్నామండి.
ఆడ మనిషి ప్రెసిడెంట్ గారు అయిన తర్వాత ఆమె భర్త నేనే ప్రెసిడెంట్ అని చాలా మంది అవుతున్నారు. అందువల్ల మేమే వెళ్ళి అందరికి అన్ని పనులు బాగా సక్రమంగా చేస్తాం, మీతో మేమేం తక్కువ కాదు అనేసి నిరూపించుకుంటాం.
నేను ఊళ్ళోకి వెళ్ళిన తర్వాత ముఖ్యంగా ఆడవాళ్ళ సమస్యలు ఏంటో తెలుసుకుంటాను, వాళ్ళ సమస్య ఏంటనేది పరిష్కరించాలని ప్రయత్నిస్తాను.
Subsequently, the selected village level volunteers were also exposed to the samabhagam program content during the 2 days training at the Vijayanagaram district headquarters on the 28th and 29th December 2011. They were also subjected to the same techniques and manuals that were in fact put to use at the APAD training programs. Inspired as they were by the concept of samabhagam, the trained motivators and volunteers together have already started working with the community to enlist their cooperation and to promote women's political leadership and governance.
వార్డు సభలో వాళ్ళకున్న సమస్యలను తెలుసుకోవడం జరిగింది.
ఉమెన్ మోటివేటర్లు మేమందరం కలిపి ఇంటింటికి వెళ్ళి ప్రసారం చేసి ప్రజలందరూ రావాలనేసి వాళ్ళు తీసుకోవడం రావడం జరిగింది సార్.
Facilitated by the motivators and volunteers, more women are now attending Grama Sabhas in these villages and are discussing and finding out ways to address women-specific issues like discrimination against girl child, malnutrition among women and children, drinking water, sanitation, equal wages, leadership, etc., etc.
గ్రామ సభలోనూ చక్కగా చదువుకోమని చెప్పారు పిల్లల్ని. పెద్దలు చిన్నలు పనిచేసి కొన్నూరు ఎల్లకంట చదువు ఊర్లోని పనులు చేసుకొని బట్టి పైన వ్యవసాయం పను చేసుకొని ఉండమా.
మన ఊరికి ఆడవాళ్ళు లీడర్ అయితే బాగుంటుందా, మగవాళ్ళు లీడర్ అయితే బాగుంటుందా?
ఇప్పుడు రోజులు పెట్టి ఆడవాళ్ళే.
At this point of progress of the UN Women Project in Andhra Pradesh, the Embassy of Royal Kingdom of Norway decided to get a first-hand experience of the project, for which they chose to follow the progress made in Andhra Pradesh and India. They visited the nodal agency for implementing UN project AMR APAD. On arrival at APAD, they were received by the Principal Secretary, Rural Development, Government of Andhra Pradesh, and the Commissioner of APAD, along with Commissioner Panchayat Raj, Government of AP. Immediately thereafter, the Minister, Ms. Liv Navarasete, unveiled the newly installed statue of the Father of the Nation, Mahatma Gandhi. Members of the team paid floral tributes. They interacted with the Principal Secretary, Rural Development, Commissioner and faculty of APAD, Commissioner Panchayat Raj, government officials and the UN staff in AP. After a typical Hyderabadi lunch, the team travelled to Iddanavalasa, a Grab Panchayat in Vijayanagaram district of Andhra Pradesh. They participated in the Iddanavalasa Grama Sabha. Ms. Liv Navarasete, Minister of Local Governance and Rural Development, Royal Kingdom of Norway, and her colleagues interacted with the village UN Women Empowerment volunteers, motivators, and local women leaders. Today, APAD is happy that it has got the project going on schedule in all the project districts of Andhra Pradesh, including the 3rd district, Mahbubnagar. Having done its best, APAD believes that Ms. Liv Navarasete and her team and the Royal Kingdom of Norway have all the reason to be happy with the progress of UN project in Andhra Pradesh. The Samabhagam program has kindled many lamps in the minds of women on one side and sensitized the men counterparts on the other, and together, minds ignited. Some of these communities now aspire to facilitate women to capture various leadership positions, not only in Panchayat Raj institutions, but also in the assemblies and in parliament. All of them are working for the rights of girl child and women by building bridges. Build, Brig, Yaren! Thanking Norway, Government of India and UN Women.